Hayley Bour here with Hayley's comments. Good morning. How are you doing in
Hey,
Japan?
Jamoke, konnichiwa, good evening, and good morning to the Western world.
We're here on the Props Network. We're live on Twitch, YouTube, Facebook. I'll be looking for your comments if you have any comments, people that are up with us. Hayley, where are we getting started this morning?
Ooh, this one bugs me. It gets under my skin a little bit because I feel like it applies broadly to most major sports leagues. But there is a possible class action lawsuit about to hit the NHL and about a dozen other hockey leagues, Jamoke. So this player, his name is Kobe something. He's
Kobe.
like Manitoba or something. He's playing in the junior leagues up in Canada, and he's alleging that there is a conspiracy among all of these professional and amateur leagues to suppress the earning potential of amateur hockey players and to limit their careers and to elicit more control over the players before they even get to the big show, the NHL. Jamoke, the proposed settlement, $825 million. Now, it hasn't reached class action status yet, but Jamoke, is this a bunch of junior players playing crybaby because they're getting preference with all of these NHL clubs, or is this a legitimate grievance?
Okay, it's tough because I do get what he's saying. If you remember in the NFL for a while, like that number one pick, you weren't getting the kind of some players would say that a number one pick, the vets who were playing would say, well, a number one pick shouldn't get all of this money because he hasn't done anything. And it's taking away the earning potential of the veterans because we're paying a player who hasn't even taken a snap in the NFL, all of the taking up, 30% of the salary cap. So I get what they're saying. However, I am going to side with the veterans here and the league and say, you got to play for a little bit before you can say that you deserve, top-notch dollars. I mean, to this day, I don't know how many people know that Alex Ovechkin basically makes $10 million a year, which if you say that's a lot of money, okay, that is a lot of money to us, but that's not a lot of money when you think about, his counterpart with the Wizards, John Wall, making $40 million a year, and Alex Ovechkin is the best player in the National Hockey League. So I feel like, no, I'm sorry, Kobe. First of all, it's probably going to be tough for you to have that name considering who we think of as Kobe Bryant, so I think you need to just chill. $800 million is a lot of money for rookies to then say, my thing is when you get to the NHL, what about if you're not so much blackballed, but you're going to get hit a little bit more, just across the boards a little bit more because you were saying that you deserved more money and that like the veterans in the league are trying to suppress the young players from making that money?
Yeah.
I just don't think so. I think you should play on a rookie contract. And if you become one of the top players, then that next contract, you should get paid. And that's how it should work.
The finances of the NHL are a mystery to me, Jamoke, because you're right. $10 million for the premier player in the league is just almost laughable, right?
It is.
But of course, we lay people can't scoff at $10 million a year.
No, we can't.
But man, you're right. There's a lot of leagues where you could say, if you really want to reach, you could say there's a conspiracy against the amateur players to elicit that control and to give all the power to the leagues financially. But this one's going to be interesting to follow. And I've got to note that Canadian junior leagues filed a grievance, and they are getting rewarded back pay to meet minimum wage. So they're getting themselves a couple $1 million divided amongst players in this league. So I'm waiting for MLB, minor league baseball, to take note.
and my thing is, like, it's not like we're saying you can't get paid, right? Everyone should get paid. I just think that maybe what the NHL needs to do is say, okay, let's come up with a better rookie pay scale. And then I guess I guess veteran would be next. And I don't know if to take a line from Josh Howard, when he came to the Wizards, he always used to joke, hey, Jamoke, I'm a super vet. I'm past the 10 years. So maybe that's what it needs to be is you got your rookie scale, veteran scale, and then super vet scale, something
10
like that.
years in any league, come on.
Yeah.
In MLB, you get your full pension. I mean, that's when you've made it, and you can buy your house in the Bahamas and just consider it a done deal.
So you got what? 4 years? Justin's got 4 years. He's going to get back in the league, or 6 years, excuse me, because he played in the league for 4 years, right?
He played for 6. Service time's different though, so he's got his half. He's halfway there.
Okay, halfway there.
So we're not buying the Bahamas house yet.
Okay.
If we take a deal here and there, maybe one day. All right, let's go to the NFL. You ready?
Okay, I'm ready.
Okay. The Washington football team is facing Kyler Murray. Week 2, Ron Rivera says he's got anxiety, and that's pretty fair. 26 of 40 last week in week 1. He rushed 13 times, 230 passing yards. He threw 1 pick. Ron Rivera, rightly so, has anxiety, but we saw what the Washington football team's defense, it's a mouthful, did to Carson Wentz. He was sacked 9 times. So Rivera is looking for a way to get to Murray, to shake him up in the pocket. But Murray creates opportunities for himself wherever he goes. He's not shy to run the ball. Do you think Ron Rivera is losing sleep this week?
I think Ron Rivera isn't losing sleep. The Washington football team is 1-0. At the top of the NFC East, they're very, very top for week 1. Week 1.
Enjoy it. Yeah.
Hail to the Washington football team.
Easy.
But it's only week 1. Yeah. They're facing a tough quarterback in Kyler Murray. Let's think about the fact that Philly, in some ways, you would say lost the game. They were up 17 points. I don't know how they ended up losing that game. The best thing about that is at least there were no fans in the stadium, although I want fans in the stadium, because we didn't have and I'm saying we, because I'm from DC. I shouldn't say we, always say we. There weren't a bunch of Philly fans in there cheering for the Eagles when Washington was mounting a comeback. But now we have the Cardinals, who used to be in the NFC East, and they have DeAndre Hopkins on one side, Larry Fitzgerald on the other side, and Kyler Murray, who can run, throw. You can't even see him behind that offensive line. So there aren't going to be any sacks to be had, Hayley. That's my prediction. It's going to be very, very difficult for Washington to get a win unless they can find a way to stop a running quarterback. So from that perspective, yeah, he might be losing sleep because Carson Wentz can go back from whence he came, which is Philadelphia. And now we're bringing in Kyler Murray, who's a little scat back, running back / quarterback in that same mold of Russell Wilson in Baltimore. And well, actually, let me go back because we had a running quarterback in Washington before they went with, I'm forgetting his name, with Minnesota. I want to forget his name. I lost my train of thought. I'm totally forgetting who it is. But in my mind, I just think that Robert Griffin III, this is what we wanted Robert Griffin III to be, to make it to year 2 healthy. And that's what we're going to see in Kyler Murray, although he'll be in another uniform.
Kyler Murray's playing Quidditch out there.
Yeah, Kirk Cousins, that's who it is.
He's playing Quidditch.
He is. It's going to be great. It's going to be exciting to watch him and see if Washington can get the same kind of pressure on a mobile quarterback versus a quarterback who stays in the pocket, mostly like Carson Wentz.
All right, so NFL headed into week 2. The Redskins have a tough matchup. College football has yet to get its start, but the Big Ten announced plans to resume play or to begin play October 23rd. Jamoke, what's it going to take for this thing to go off without a hitch or to go off without to go off at all, we'll say.
Okay, so here's my thing. I graduated from the University of Pittsburgh, so I am excited that the ACC is playing. University of Pittsburgh won their first game as well. I am really torn. I'm torn because I worry about the athletes. I was looking at a bunch of tweets, and one that stood out for me was Jamel Hill saying, okay, we have all of these college athletes playing, which means they have to take COVID tests. That costs a lot of money, up to $150 per test. And I'm sure there are, different companies out there charging different prices and probably upcharging when you think about the Big Ten in professional sports playing.
Yeah.
Are the students getting these same tests? Are you caring about the students the same way you're caring about the athletes? Now, it's one thing to say, okay, well, football pays for volleyball and some of these sports that aren't revenue generating. But let's start with people. Do you care about the people? And that's where I am saying, because I know football brings in money, but tuition brings in money too. And if you care about the people and you're going to tell me in the Big Ten, ACC, well, Pac-12 isn't playing, but in the conferences that are playing, that everyone is getting tested, that's the message I want to hear. Okay, you want to play football? Go play football. But I want to hear that you care about everyone and you're thinking about all students when you're saying, let's play football, and not just saying, well, we only care if the athletes have it. Let's focus on them, and the students, okay, whatever, go to the health center, and whatever happens to you, whatever happens. But I'm excited. You've got a lot of players and coaches playing Let's Play Football. I love Jim Harbaugh's tweet. It said, stay positive, test negative, let's play football. You can't beat that. That's awesome.
Total Harbaugh tweet right there. You're right. You got to think about the students, and not just for their safety, but you got to think about the immaturity, we'll say, of your average college student. I saw a video from, or was it LSU? There was a huge outdoor party. I won't even call it a tailgate because it looked like an absolute rave, Jamoke. Yeah. And it's like, come on, that's how this thing is going to spread, You pass your red Solo cup to your friend, and gosh, it could rip right through a college campus. So
Coach Orgeron was talking about it the other day that, several players have tested positive. We got to work it out. So we'll see what happens when Big Ten plays. If we can get these, players, coaching staff as well, to follow the rules. We'll see.
Title IX didn't have provisions for rapid virus tests, so had they had the foresight, right?
I don't know. I don't know if anybody, when you talk about, I don't know if you saw the viral video. Gosh, why am I forgetting everybody's name today? He's one of the funny comedians, and he was playing like a millennial.
Yeah, I saw that. Shoot. Who was it?
Yeah,
it
God.
Wasn't a millennial.
And then at the end, right, and then at the end, he was just like, just wear a mask. That's all I need you to do is wear a mask. And, I hope coaches and everybody else on the staff will actually wear a mask. We'll see.
Yeah, we'll see. Some of them are getting stylish, so it's hard to say no.
Yeah.
All right, let's go to the NBA.
Okay.
The Nuggets are giving us a show. We are getting our money's worth. We know we're not going to get the Battle of LA, but hey, maybe that's okay because the Nuggets have done something that no team in NBA history have done. They've come back from not one, but 2-1-3 deficits. Okay. Elimination games, no problem. They've won 6 straight elimination games. Is this a team that needs to be in the pressure cooker in order to win?
Yes. I think they like having their backs against the wall. The key for this team that I think makes it, first of all, we don't necessarily think about, and I said it for 2 seasons, there is no doubt in my mind that Nikola Jokic, the Joker, is the best big man in the NBA for his all-around game. His passing, his shooting. He can face up on the basket. He can shoot threes. He can bring the ball up if you want to. He doesn't have the flash of Joel Embiid. He's not Anthony Davis, who sometimes plays a center position. He's not Bam Adebayo, who is should have been the most improved player of the year. He's not Giannis, but to me, he's the best big man in the NBA, and it's showing. Now, you could say being down 1-3 is not good for a leader like that, and then in crunch time, you see him passing the ball, and you wonder, well, you should have the ball in your hand. You should be the one shooting. I just think he's a calm, collected leader. And then you have Jamal Murray, who in the beginning of the Clipper series, I think he was, not quite there yet. I think he was coming down from cloud nine, having scored 50, 42, 51 points, against the Utah Jazz. And then he was playing the Clippers, and he had to collect himself and find his game again. And he found it in Game 7 when he scored 40 points. And I think the Lakers are going to have trouble if you've got a player who's not a superstar, but a budding all-star in Jamal Murray. If he's going to be averaging 40 points a game, and then you got Nikola Jokic, who's averaging a triple-double at 25 points a game and 12 rebounds and 10 assists, and then you add the supporting cast with the one of the Grant brothers, Jerry and Grant. I just think that Michael Porter Jr., who no one thought he would be this player because of his injury, so he was picked late. He's a sleeper pick. And shout out to Tim Connolly, who is a protege of Ernie Grunfeld of the Wizards, who's a GM of the Nuggets, and has just built a great, great staff. You got a great head coach and Coach Malone. You got a great team. And I just love this team. I want them to win, but I know for the NBA ratings, they're like, no. We need to get them eliminated. It has to be LeBron and the Lakers.
Yeah. It seems like we're going to have some. Would you say long-term star power potential in Denver with Jokic and Jamal Murray?
Yeah,
just
I think
that young. Just flashes of brilliance here. Do you think it's a flash in the pan, or do you think this is like the franchise it's set years to come? We have a powerhouse there.
I think it's years to come. I also feel like the West is stacked. I think Phoenix is going to be really good next year. Utah is going to be really good. Denver is going to be really good. You talk about these young upstart teams. And I think the thing for Denver reminds me of the next San Antonio Spurs. You don't have superstars that shine, make a lot of noise, get on social media. They just win. And that's what I think you have in the Denver Nuggets. And we'll see if they can win, 4 games over the Lakers and get to the NBA Finals. Won't be good for ratings, but I'm sure for the Denver Nuggets, they're going to be like, hey, we're there, and that's all that matters. We can't focus on who thinks we're a good team that you want to watch us. Bottom line is the Denver Nuggets are a quality team, and if I'm the Los Angeles Lakers, I'm not sleeping on them like obviously the Los Angeles Clippers did, and I lost my chance.
You know what would be dope for ratings, though, Jamoke? Yet another series coming back, straight elimination games, and then moving on to the finals.
True.
Or maybe it wouldn't. I don't know if Denver has that kind of pull. But we know the LA market and all the LA faithful would stay glued to their TVs. Now, I want to ask you about Paul Millsap. What have you seen from him, his transformation, more or less, over the past 6 games?
I think you have these veterans who come alive with young player, and the nucleus has to be right. Let's not act like, a lot of times you're always looking for a veteran to make a difference, right? You and I were there, Paul Pierce with the Wizards, right? Yeah. I called Bank. How he uplifted the team.
Yeah.
And it even made Paul Pierce feel like, I got young legs. Give me the ball. Let me show you what I can do. I mean, in the pivotal game, I think game 6 with Utah in that third quarter where he just scored 20 points. It was just like, he's back, Paul Millsap. And I think that's what it does. He provides stability for the young players and telling them how to play, how to win. Because Paul Millsap hasn't been in the NBA Finals before, but he is a player that I respect his game. And I think for a younger player, that's what you want. You want a player you can respect his game. And then also, if you need to lean on a player like Paul Millsap, he can give you 12 points, 14 points here or there, go on a streak where he scores 4 straight baskets and he just kind of gets the team energized again. That's what you have in Paul Millsap. And then he's got to take a rest on the bench. Okay. It's like, yes, he can give you a sprint. I'll give you a sprint and then I got to pull back and let the young guns, really carry it from there. And I think that's what Paul Millsap provides, just like Paul Pierce did for the Wizards back in the day.
Yeah. A veteran presence can't be overstated, the importance of that. Everything from, on the court, but in the locker room, you need someone to show these young guys how to have relationships with their teammates, how to stay in line, how to be there in the show, handle the spotlight, handle the losses. All right, here come the tears. Here come the tears. Naomi Osaka. Did you cry? I mean, she's been so vocal about Black Lives Matter. She paid tribute to Kobe with her T-shirt after winning the U.S. Open. I mean, I told you, we talked about it last week. I went down that rabbit hole, got really emotional about her win last year. This year, you feel like you see her coming into her own, and you see that's Osaka. She's not hiding behind Serena's shadow. She's becoming an adult. I want to know what you thought about the tribute to Kobe, though.
I thought the tribute was amazing. I was surprised to see her in the jersey every game after every win. Like, that was pretty amazing. And then you hear about the connection, how Kobe would text her, give her encouragement, tell her to stay positive, talk about how, you're a champion. Don't get down when you lose games. Don't get emotional. And let me tell you something. In that final, when Vika Azarenka was winning that first set and Osaka was slamming her racket and yelling and screaming, I can just envision her listening to Kobe Bryant and saying, calm down, take it easy. All right, it's one set. You can do this. You can win this. And I think that's what was the beauty of what we were seeing is we're not just seeing Osaka win. We're seeing Kobe Bryant's effect on sports. It's not just the Lakers. It's not just the NBA. It's not just the W. It's Pau Gasol giving his daughter Gianna as a middle name.
Yeah.
Just had a new baby girl and naming her Elizabeth Gianna Gasol. It's Naomi Osaka. Yeah. Even though the initials are EGG egg. I was like, that's a tough one. But I just think that it's just amazing as we're learning more and more about Kobe Bryant's effect on sports and then entertainment. Like, you think about, wait, they text back and forth. I didn't know Kobe and Osaka were, kind of pals, or he was a mentor to her, and look, also like Naomi Osaka's boyfriend, kind of giving the Tony Kornheiser salute, as I like to call it, after she won. Corday, rapper Corday is his name. That was pretty cool. But the Kobe Bryant thing was really neat. And even when they took that picture, when he's giving her the Tony Kornheiser salute, and she's got on the Kobe Bryant jersey, it's special.
Yeah, she's going to be fun to watch.
Yeah.
All right, I want to know, is it an insult way too soon to say, or just a dumb statement? She could be the next Serena.
No. And as I put it down there, you got to see the BetMGM Sportsbook. You could almost take every single Grand Slam, use the code JustSport2020. You get a $500 deposit match. Put down Naomi Osaka for every tournament. Every tournament, Naomi Osaka is a champ. You can't go wrong. Barring an injury, I think she is becoming, as much as he just lost. So maybe it's not the right comparison. But you know how they call Kawhi Leonard like RoboCop? That's Naomi Osaka. She is just focused on winning championships. And I think that there is no doubt she's going to – I'm going to put her down to win the French Open, which we'll get into next with Frank Hanrahan a little more in the next segment. I just love her game. And I think actually what's going to make her even better, which would be scarier, don't let Serena and her become friends and she's like giving her tips on how to be a champion and winning. Then Serena's, if she can get this next major and tie Margaret Court for most majors won at 24, she's not going to have it for long before Osaka, I'd say in 5 to 7 years, is going to have 25 majors if she continues playing at this level. She's just amazing.
It's really cool watching the Osaka saga play out here in Osaka. Actually, I'm in Kobe, but Osaka is right next to us, right? So you got Kobe and Osaka. Get it?
Yeah. Oh yeah.
And she's a hero here. It's so cool. And I run by these tennis courts every day, this tennis academy, and you see these little girls just drilling their serves, and they're channeling Osaka. So it's really cool to be on this side of the world, see her become their national hero, and all these little girls just idolizing her.
You got to get little Jimmy out there with a tennis racket.
Little Roger Federer. Yeah. I don't think he'll be so light on his toes. I think he's got a 16 being an O lineman. You know, Justin, come on. Tight end, maybe.
Tight end. Maybe the best tight end in football, although I hope he plays best ball. Guaranteed contracts. You can be a little healthier. You don't get the contact sport,
Yeah.
That's tough.
Yeah, I'm hoping for golf or
golf.
Esports would be nice.
Okay.
All right. SNL, I'm excited about this one, Jamoke. Jim Carrey will be portraying Joe Biden, and I think he is the greatest pick. He has the smile. He has Joe Biden's kind of like smile. It's just like kind of creepy. There's something behind it, but just same smile. I think he's going to be able to pull off Joe like we have never seen someone portray a politician before on SNL. So it's going to be him and Alec Baldwin going at it for this 2020 election, Jamoke. First of all, how do you think Jim Carrey's going to do?
I think Jim Carrey is going to be amazing. I always felt that even if you go all the way back to In Living Color, which I was watching the other day on Vice or something, I was like, that's Jim Carrey. He is one of the funniest actors of all time. His mannerisms, facial expressions, the breadth with which he can go as an actor. Insane. I think it's going to be a ratings bonanza. And I think Donald Trump is going to be really mad because he's probably going to look at Alec Baldwin, who has made fun of Donald Trump in almost every skit. And then he's going to be like, oh, but Jim Carrey's better at Joe Biden. That's probably what you're going to get. Is like he's going to
their shape. My ratings are tanking. Oh,
Jim Carrey's better.
Baldwin's doing terrible.
That's what's going to happen because Jim Carrey, I think, is going to be so funny, and it's going to be great to pass the torch from Alec Baldwin, who's been really, really dynamic as Donald Trump as well. If it happens, that's true. If it happens, if he passes the torch to Jim Carrey, you couldn't ask for a better comedian and actor, even though I think Jim Carrey's career went down the tubes when he was like, I'm not an actor. I want to do serious roles. But I'm looking forward to it.
Likewise. Who would you play on SNL? If you were a captain, who would you portray?
Oh boy, Barack Obama,
I can see it.
If I could be, if Joe Biden's the president and then they do like a skit where Barack Obama is like over his shoulder, kind of like Key and Peele did, but it was with, just with Barack Obama and his alter ego. But I would be the Barack Obama over Joe Biden, and I'm gonna do a really bad. I can't do an impression. I'm gonna screw it up, but that's who I would play.
Okay, work on it next week.
I'll work on it for next week. Okay. Oh, I gotta be Joe. Joe, you gotta be able to get in there and you have to make tough decisions. Make tough decisions. Okay. That's
a really good start. You have a starting point.
Okay.
Okay, some sad news. Paris Hilton. I feel like she's been kind of under the radar for the past 5 years or so, but I've seen her on TikTok. I've seen her on social media, kind of making waves. And it turns out she's got a documentary that just came out. It's on YouTube. And we found out that she was abused in her boarding school. It was a disciplinary boarding school that she went to when she was in her late teens. Her parents sent her there, and she's been reconnecting with these classmates and sharing her traumatic memories. She hasn't touched this in years, like 20 some years. Jamoke, did you follow at all The Simple Life and that whole persona that she built?
Yeah.
And is this something that surprises you, that she has this dark past?
It doesn't surprise me. I think, first of all, for anybody who doesn't know, if you look at her last name, you could just tell that she came from a lot of money.
A lot of cheese.
So, to me, she started the internet. She was like the beginning of the first star to kind of live your life on the internet, MTV. Everything you do is being watched and followed in the reality style that went on for years. No, I didn't follow The Simple Life, but I knew who Paris Hilton is. And especially after last week, we talked about Skip Bayless, not having empathy for Dak Prescott coming out and talking about, his issues. Like, I don't care how much money you have. And it showed, reading about Paris Hilton's story, how sad it can be. And the fact that she had to go to sort of a disciplinary school to get her life together, and that she didn't know why she was going just in the middle of the night. She just went to Provo, Utah, and it doesn't matter how much money you have. And she's, having these issues that probably are never addressed, mostly because most of us would say, if you have that kind of money, you shouldn't have problems. What kind of problems do you have? So for her to come out and be able to say, hey, I'm dealing with issues as well. Like, I have compassion for anyone in that situation, because realistically, you don't need to work. What do you do with your life? And I hope now she's going to learn to give back and make a difference, maybe find some charities, maybe even go back and help out that school, and talk about the changes that need to be made across the board for young people who are dealing with issues, no matter where you come from. So I feel for her.
Yeah, I was kind of blown away to see that. But you knew there was something there, because she has just kept a stone face on for decades now, since building that ditzy persona. But, she's got to be brilliant. She invented the Kardashians, basically.
She really did, right?
Yeah.
She wouldn't be, I guess Kim Kardashian or anybody, you think of the TikTok stars, none of them would be who they are without Paris Hilton. And she went to the Provo Canyon School, is the school that she went to, and it's unfortunate.
The school got sold, so their statement was that they can't comment on what went on under the previous ownership. But you got to wonder what what else could be going on out there at all these disciplinary schools, even now. Okay, so this is some happy news, Jamoke. If you want to take a vacation, you can head on out to Bel Air and Airbnb the Fresh Prince mansion.
Oh, yeah.
Actual mansion, Jamoke. It's like $30 a night. The proceeds are going to the Boys and Girls Club. Love that. It's apparently already kind of booked up, but I want to know, what iconic TV home or movie home would you choose to Airbnb?
Okay, you got to brace for it. Wait, movie or TV, right?
Movie or TV.
The Ewok Village from Star Wars.
Oh, nerd answer.
It's a tree house. It's like camping. I'm out in the wilderness. I just think it would be neat. It would be unique and just something completely different that you would not expect and probably didn't expect from me. You didn't. I know. But that's where I would stay. And my second was the Millennium Falcon. Like, shout out to Disney. Shout out to Disney. I can't wait to go down there in Orlando and stay in the Star Wars hotel, and you get like an outfit, and it looks like in your like this space age home. Needless to say, my wife is like, she's not gonna go. It's a trip I have to take on my own or with the kids only.
The Leia hair. There's incentive there. That'd be pretty sick.
And I just think it would be awesome. And it's like really unique. And then I saw this and I was like, okay, let me think of some other homes. And then I got sad because you have to live in LA. Like, why do you have to live in LA to stay in one of these homes? I don't know, or stay in this Fresh Prince home.
Travel, maybe?
No. And then if you go on Airbnb, as I did, check it out. There are all of these cool places that you can stay. Like all of these other like vintage homes and homes from Hollywood. So it was really cool to see. But that's right. Where would you stay?
The first one that came to mind, and I don't know why, but the McAllister house in Home Alone. Because that meme that goes around?
That's a good one.
Yeah, Mr. McAllister can afford this house and a vacation to France for like 12 people, right?
Yeah. And you and Justin would leave Jimmy home alone. That would be perfect.
Home Alone, exactly. I didn't even think of that. The amenities aren't too grand, but just for the experience, we'd have to go to McAllister home.
That'd be awesome. Okay, McAllister home. I like it.
All right, and broken homes, Jamoke. Broken homes. Cardi B and Offset are headed for divorce. She has filed for divorce after allegations of infidelity, apparently. What I want to know, we have seen this woman dance, we have seen her rap, we have seen her drag politicians and political pundits on the internet. I would not mess with this woman in any way. I wouldn't steal her parking space. I would get in front of her in line by accident. I would never want to offend Cardi B. She seems like she has a knack for revenge, and she is hard, and she can come at you. So what is wrong with Offset for stepping in the wrong direction when he is married to that woman?
Okay, so first of all, we're talking about a woman who came up with WAP with Megan Thee Stallion. So I'm sure in many ways she is very intimidating, and she is a star in her own right. And maybe Offset is like, I'm not as big as you, and I want to be just like you. So he's got to stay in the news some way, somehow.
Yeah.
I don't know. I mean, Cardi B could have anybody she wants.
Yeah, right?
That
relationship always confused me.
No, and then you find out what all of these stars have trouble in marriages and relationships, and I don't know what that's like. Although someday, Hayley, you and I will be big time stars, and everybody will be watching our live streams.
Indeed.
So I don't know what they're going through. I have, in some ways, empathy for whatever we don't know is happening between them.
Yeah, I got you.
But you hear of all kinds of, especially I feel like you hear about maybe more from female celebrities that they're lonely or, it's having a hard time with keeping a man, so to speak. It's unfortunate. And, she's going to take her talents elsewhere. Take her talents elsewhere. Maybe not South Beach.
We know what all those talents are now.
Yeah.
Leaves nothing to the imagination.
No.
I go back to South Beach.
No. So someone's going to be like, I'm next. I'm ready.
Right. She's still alive. Oh, what a fool, Offset. What a fool. Watch your back.
Yeah, he's missing out. Okay, Hayley, this has been great.
It has. Thank you.
Thank you.
It.
I had a ball.
Likewise.
You enjoy your evening, and we'll see you in a bit.
Arigatou gozaimasu.
Okay. Oh, I just say ciao for now for you.
Ciao for now. We'll translate that one, okay?
Okay. Bye.
See ya.
Okay, so that was Hayley Bour with Hayley's comments. Hope you enjoyed us talking about everything from NHL conspiracies to Cardi B getting a divorce from Offset. Wow, we really span the globe of sports and entertainment there. And coming up next, we've got Frank Hanrahan, and we are going to be talking French Open. Frank, I hope he's ready for what will be a very spirited conversation right now. But first, hopefully, you're enjoying this content here on the Props Network. Listen, everybody, please, if you want to bet, use BetMGM. Follow it from the Props Network. We have a special offer, $500 deposit match using the code JustSport20. And I'm going to get my bets in from the French Open very soon after this great conversation. And I'm bringing him in now. Frank, how you doing?
Hey, what's up, man? How are you?
I'm doing well. I'm excited to talk French Open with you. Have you been relishing in your pick of Dominic Thiem to win the U.S. Open?
Oh, is that? No, because I sort of like when Djokovic got kicked out, that was sort of like it kind of changed everything. So I'll take it. But this conversation about betting on the big favorites, right? Because you just never know what's going to happen. And we never expected that to happen. So when that sort of occurred, I was like, oh, okay. And one of these young guns is finally going to win it. So that was a good sweat, that final. So, sometimes you take your wins, but man, it can be quite an adventure to get there. So, yeah, when it settles in and I'll say, okay, I picked him to win. That's great. But, that was quite a final because I thought Zverev would ultimately be just too good, and that wasn't the case. He was outlasted. It was like those guys were playing not to lose. It was quite a final.
Yeah.
That still changed some things for the French Open for sure.
Do you think in any way, is it unfair to say that there should be an asterisk with this final simply because of the fact that, Djokovic was disqualified?
It's a great question. I thought going in we'd have an asterisk next to it just because of all of the surrounding elements with no fans, no Nadal, no Federer. But, man, watching those matches, it was almost as if there was more pressure without the crowd. Does that make sense? Because it's you and your opponent. You have no outside help. So to that question, I think we will always say, well, quite frankly, I think if Djokovic was in there, he would have just mowed those guys down because the moment they were just playing so tight. Djokovic has been there so many times before. He probably would have just dusted those guys off the court. But, hey, you know what? He screwed up. So to answer your question, no, I don't think there will be an asterisk. We'll remember it as, that was a tournament where Djokovic nailed the lines judge. But I will say no asterisk. Those guys earned it.
it was just tough to watch.
Yeah.
The way that he hit the lines judge, and you're just, oh my God. I mean,
and he should have been kicked out. That's the thing. Like, tennis etiquette, you can't do that. It doesn't matter if it's intentional or unintentional. That's it. You're done. So a lot of people I've talked to, they're like, oh, that wasn't so bad. But I want to be like, well, yeah, it is kind of bad. You can't do that. You slam your racket a couple times, you'll get tossed. You hit some lines person once, that's it. So those are the breaks, man.
And then the other part, I think, that added to the issue is, and maybe this isn't a big thing, but for me, it was tough to watch him try to finagle the judges into saying, I didn't really hit her. Like, I kind of hit her, but I didn't hit her. Come on, you could just let me play. And it's like, realistically, it's like, you know what, Djokovic, that just means you did not have compassion for what you did. You just were like, no, I am Djokovic. I deserve to be playing. That's
and that's why I think, like, we're going to get to it in a second, but that's why I like him in the French Open now, because he's got a lot to prove, not only to himself but to fans, and to sort of make up for that gaffe, because that was a huge mistake, man.
Yeah, it was pretty sad. Let's talk about Naomi Osaka. She beats Victoria Azarenka. I don't know why I didn't see that coming, Frank. I mean, Victoria Azarenka won the Western and Southern Open, although it was because Naomi Osaka was injured and didn't play. And I don't want to take away from Azarenka winning that tournament. I mean, the bottom line, she made it to the finals, and I just never thought that she would then make it to the finals of the U.S. Open as well.
I know. Good for her. I mean, what a comeback. It's been like, 7-8 years before she was between the finals. So I got to juice up my computer before it goes down.
Okay.
But that was something. And I thought she had it too. And then Osaka sort of was like, you know what? I need to recharge, refocus. And like, she flipped a switch, and it was a completely different player from the middle of the second set on. That's the crazy thing about tennis. 1 second, the player looks like they're dead to rights, and then voila, they get a quick changeover, quick break, and they totally change their outset, their mindset, and it's a different match. Let me put this charger on. Where is my charger? Hold on. Sorry. All right.
No, it was. There's no doubt that it was amazing to watch. It was amazing to watch not only Naomi Osaka win, but I think the way that you saw all of the emotions out of her in that first set when she was losing, and you didn't know. I didn't know if she was going to come back. I mean, you go down in that first set and you're down 6-1, and you somehow turn it around in the second and third games, or set, excuse me. Not that I didn't think she had it in her, but I thought she was emotionally losing it so much in that first set. I just didn't see her recovering. I was just amazed to see how she kind of composed herself.
Oh, yeah. I mean, I saw the first set, and she was just making unforced errors and mistakes. And not that you want to do live betting, but if you did, there's a spot right there where you're probably getting good odds, right? Of she just looked so out of it and not ready and not in tune. And whoever or whatever was inside her head was just strong enough to get her back on track. And that's something that's scary, right? Because if you're the opponent and you win 6-1, you think, oh, I'm good, right?
Yeah.
Not so much, not so fast. So yeah, to her credit, that is the DNA champion, so to speak. And that's what you got to watch out for, even if you are a previous champion like Azarenka. I don't think she put her foot off the pedal, but I'm sure in her brain she was thinking, okay, I'm good. I got this.
Yeah.
She wasn't right. Yep.
Let's stick with the women's side as we now move to the French Open, as we get set for what is sure to be probably the most bizarre time for all of us in sports. The French Open is normally played in late May to early June. Here we are in September getting ready to watch the Grand Slam tournament on the red clay. On the women's side, Simona Halep is back, but Ashley Barty will not be playing. She will not be defending her title. Eugenie Bouchard gets a wild card in this tournament, which, on the men's side, Andy Murray got one too.
Oh, is that right? Okay.
Yeah. Let's look at BetMGM's lines here of who they think will win it all. As it stands right now, we got Simona Halep at the top at plus 300s, Bertens at 800, Naomi Osaka at plus 900, Serena Williams at plus 1,000 as the top 4 players you can look at.
Okay.
Who are you thinking will come out on the women's? And we don't know the draw right now. We're talking, we don't have the draw, but just the strongest player on the women's side that you think can win it.
This is interesting because, again, it's French Open. The surfaces are much slower, so it's not going to help your power players as much. It sort of evens the field. But, again, we've had this discussion about value plays, and I would never – although anything you take here is a value, right? So Osaka's ground strokes are just so good that – and to our point, obviously mentally strong, coming off of this U.S. Open victory. But plus 900, that's a good value, man. Why not put like a C note on her? Halep is also very good, and she's a value at plus 300. So whatever play you make here, in my opinion, is a smart play. I don't know if I'm going to take Serena Williams at plus 1,000. That clay slows everything down, gives people with more of a touch an advantage. But I like what Osaka did at the U.S. Open. So if I'm going to do a value, I will probably do her play plus 900. That's why does that seem so high? They know something I don't. And crazy things happen. And Halep at plus 300 is not a bad value either. So maybe those two. Give me a couple C notes on those.
I think the part that why I feel like I would put money on Serena as well is because one of these tournaments, and granted it's not like Tiger when he came out of nowhere and started winning again. It's not quite like that. But one of these tournaments, she's going to put it all together. And it's going to be a surprise. So I feel like every tournament, if you've got a C note or, $10 to just say, okay, let me put that on Serena too. Is she ever going to win again? Because to me, Osaka will always be the favorite. Any tournament, I'm going Osaka. Yeah. But second, I would put Serena, especially because Ashley Barty's not playing.
Yeah. To your point, that's it. You would think at some point she's going to get one more major, so you might as well throw something down. Well, maybe a little, $10 here, $20 there. Because again, like we said, the return is so good. That's what's enticing about all of this. There's no real – on the men's side, there are some real favorites, or there's one real favorite. But on the women's side, whoever you take, if you take 4 to 5 players and the value is so good, ultimately this could work out for you in the end. We'll see.
Yeah. And if you're wondering who Ashley Barty beat in the French Open last year, thinking, oh, maybe I'll pick that person. Well, it's Marketa Vondrousova. Does anybody know who that is?
I don't remember that.
Don't know who that is. So,
I don't remember that at all. Wow.
A very long shot if you want to pick Vondrousova.
Wow, okay.
I just don't see it happening. Okay, is there, who would you say is kind of a sleeper pick if you want to go further down? Kvitova's plus 2,000. Kerber's at plus 3,300. Vondrousova, as we mentioned, is at plus 4,000. Plus 4,000.
Man, that's tough.
Andreescu's plus 1,600. I don't know. Right? Pliskova's plus 1,800. Kinnan is plus 2,200.
Andreescu. I like her.
Andreescu?
Yeah. She didn't play in the U.S. Open, right?
No.
Okay. So maybe she's rested. I'll take her.
And I think what's going to be interesting to see as I go back to Osaka for a minute, and Azarenka was plus 1,600, is several players opted to say, okay, am I going to do French or U.S. Open? Because of the different court surfaces. You know, they went right from the U.S. Open to playing in Italy on the clay before you go to the French Open. So I think players kind of, you know, had to pick and choose. And speaking of a player who had to pick and choose, let's go to the men's side. Yeah. And Rafa, the 12-time champion. He hasn't played in 6 months. He said, you know what? I'm not playing in the U.S. Open. I'm going to prepare for what really is his best tournament. And he may be probably is the greatest clay court player ever, having won not just 12 tournaments, 12 French Opens, but 9 Italian Opens. Clay is his game. And he's coming back into this tournament minus 125. So I guess you're not picking him, you know.
Yeah. That's actually not as I thought he might be a little bit more of a favorite, but I think it's because of the layoff. Because he can play the U.S. Open. He is getting a little older, but boy, that's his castle, right? And he rules it. It's not actually a bad play in terms of just putting a little bit on it, because we've had this discussion about taking favorites is always risky, always dicey. But he is the guy to beat. Clearly, he is just so good on that surface, and whoever he plays knows that he is so good on that surface. So it's almost like you're playing you're like 1 versus 2. So who's ever the mentally capable of getting on the same court with him, and that's why there's so few other guys that I would wager on. I mean, Djokovic is what is he, like plus 300 maybe? It's not a bad. That's a good value, I think, to take Djokovic. Not the greatest on clay, but he's got some French Open titles. Maybe does he have one? Maybe I don't know, 1 or 2. Or
he has one.
One.
Yeah.
Okay. That 1 year that Nadal didn't win it. Yeah. There's just like the younger guys. I just don't see that happening. So those are the two. It's a 2-horse race, I think, in terms of the French Open. Those two guys.
So the thing for me is, I don't disagree with you, and I think most people are going to look at this tournament and say, well, Nadal hasn't played in almost 7 months coming into this French Open, and yet he dusted one of the semifinals in the U.S. Open, 6-1, 6-1 in his first Italian Open match. Carreno Busta just destroyed him. It's just like, okay, no, I'll go on ahead and just, you know, it's like a tune-up for him, and he knows how to play on clay. Yeah. Here's the other one. Okay, we got Dominic Thiem at plus 300. He has been the runner-up in the French Open the past 2 years, 2019 and 2018, losing to Rafa. He's talked about how he feels more relaxed coming off a cloud 9, winning his first Grand Slam. You know, now the jitters of will I win a first Grand Slam is over for him, which I do think is a positive. Tsitsipas, who didn't go as long as I thought he would, he's at plus 1,600. Zverev, who lost to Thiem in the U.S. Open, is at plus 2,000. And Medvedev is at plus 2,200.
Okay. Yeah, those are good values. I always have liked Zverev. I thought he was going to win the U.S. Open. Not the case. So, again, when you win that title, that boosts, obviously, his belief, our beliefs. Thiem at, plus 300? Is that what you said? It's not bad. I like Zverev and Medvedev. Put a little coin on that as well. Not that, hard court is their surface.
Yeah.
But they're always knocking at the door, man. So I think you might as well take the new big 3 of the young guns, Thiem, Zverev, and Medvedev, and then Djokovic and Nadal. So those are your power plays.
If I'm looking for a deep sleeper, I was going down the list from BetMGM. You can make your bets there. Okay. You follow it from the Props Network down to BetMGM Sportsbook. You can get a special offer, $500 deposit match using the code JustSport20. You got Nick Kyrgios at plus 6,600.
Wow.
Batista Agut at plus 8,000. Shapovalov at plus 10. Shapovalov, excuse me, at plus 10,000.
Okay.
Nishikori at plus 10,000. I feel like those are names that it's like I could see them making a run. If Nick Kyrgios, at least just with him, can keep his emotions in check.
Yeah.
I like some of those long plays as well. Martin Del Potro is plus 6,600.
Oh, wow. Forgot about him. Okay. Yeah, no, it's the problem is that you got those big guys at the end, right? So you probably, you might make a nice run. Can you bet on if they get to the semis?
Yeah, I mean, well, that's the thing. Like, you know, you can if you want to. I mean, I'm looking only at the finals, but those aren't bad picks to maybe say maybe they'll get to the semis and quarters. Yeah,
right, absolutely. But again, we got to wait for the draw. But yeah, to your point, those guys are good enough to do that for sure. And I like even that guy like Koric who upset Tsitsipas, right? And then was pushing.
He's at plus 8,000.
Yeah, I like him too. So yeah, use some of those guys that had a little momentum at the U.S. Open, or some that were like sort of ticked off and disappointed, like Tsitsipas was.
Raonic has to be disappointed. He's at plus 10,000. Cilic is at plus 10,000.
Cilic, wow, okay. Yeah, it's wide open up until, in my opinion.
Yeah, up until. Let's see the draw. We'll figure out what's going to happen with the draw. As we move off the court, but still with the French Open, I'd love to get your thoughts on this. I don't know how many people know the French Open is allowing fans in. Now, there's going to be specific testing in place for the players, but they're going to allow fans, and the players have to stay in a bubble. They only can stay in one of two hotels, so I'm sure many of them have their private chalets that they want to stay in. They cannot do that, so they have to stay in a bubble. But it's not like you're asking the fans to stay in a bubble, so I'm curious to see what the court is going to look like. If they're going to be glass partitions up that kind of, keep any germs or sneezes from floating.
Upper deck or something?
Maybe only in the upper deck. Yeah, that's going to be interesting to see what they do there. Do you think it's good to have fans in the stadium?
I do. I thought it was a little interesting at the end of the U.S. Open. It was almost like they were allowing more coaches and like random employees to like be at the final. So I felt like if you're either going to have fans or not, like you got to stick to it. So I'm curious to see in the French Open like how many will be there. I think from that, just the little claps after each big play, that actually sort of does give you some sort of harken back to the good old days when people could applaud and cheer you on. So I think as a player, you appreciate that. So yes, I do like the fans, but to your point, how are they going to do that? How far away are they? How many will there be? But I think it does provide some sort of ambiance to the whole experience. So I do like the idea, but again, it's just the execution.
And the one player, going back to Novak Djokovic, who already was disqualified for the U.S. Open, he's already not off to his best behavior at the Italian Open. He was complaining about noise. They don't have fans. There were like 10 people in the stands, and he's already saying that the crowd noise bothered him. And it's like, wait a minute, you used to playing with fans, and you have 10 people in the stadium, and you're and maybe that's the catch-22 because it's probably amplified. I guess the sound is amplified. That one person
must be something, yeah. And again, he shouldn't be complaining. Like, just for right now, like, keep your head straight forward. Don't say anything. You're coming off an embarrassing situation. You don't want to like continue to add to your resume of doing dumb things. So yeah, he should just shut up.
And the umpire also questioned Djokovic because he wasn't wearing a mask as he made his way out onto the court. So it's just like, you're just batting 1,000 going into this French Open, Novak. I don't know what's going on with you.
Oh my God. It's not that hard.
No. And so, okay, we know that Rafa has some idiosyncrasies.
Sure.
And it's been noticed at the Italian Open. I'm sure, I think this should be something they should put on BetMGM as well. He's putting towels in every corner of the court. So at the end of his matches when he's winning on social media, you just see Rafa going around picking up 20, 30 towels like he's an attendant. He's a ball kid, so he's just walking back with a handful of towels. It's going to be fun to see how many towels he's going to be carrying around and placing on the French Open court. I'm going to be watching. I think we should have some bets on MGM as to how many he's going to have on the court.
That's right. Because that was like a big point of contention for some of these players, like because of their routine. They're so used to going over the ball kid or ball boy or ball woman and getting the towel. And now they've got to do it on their own. Oh, the humanity. Jeez.
And you can't, touch, you can't talk to I guess you can talk to them, but you can't have the same interaction with the ball kids. I mean, you and I both play tennis. Do you have any idiosyncrasies, things that you do after you win a game or anything like that?
No, I mean, I'm much more like if I don't have something prior rather than during. So like if I forget a sweatband or something, that'll annoy me.
Yeah.
I forgot my sweatband. But during it, I don't really have any like sort of routine that if it's out of whack, it'll set me off. So, but to Nadal, he's got the whole thing, touching everything, the towels. So maybe the last 6 months he was working on that kind of stuff, right? Getting used to do what he does.
Quite possible. Mine was pretty simple, but especially if I was down, I would take a little bit of time. I'd turn my back to the opponent.
Oh, yeah.
I would kind of play with my strings and just talk to myself, and then take 2 or 3 deep breaths.
Yeah.
And then turn back around and try to act like, okay, new game, let's go.
Right.
And that was my thing.
Do that. Yeah, they put up a towel on the fence, sort of like to give them their breather.
Yeah.
I don't do that. I actually like to just keep it moving so I don't think about it too much.
Okay. Yeah. Final predictions. Okay. Who's winning it all on the men's and women's side?
See. Okay, so if I'm just going to pick a straight up winner, I'll go with Nadal again because he's just so good. But if I was going to put a little bit of money down, I would put some money down on Djokovic, and I'll take Zverev too.
Zverev.
I think he's just in my mind he's too good not to do something. Mm-hmm. He had his opportunity at the U.S. Open. We'll see how he responds to that. So I'll go with those two guys to put money down, but I think Nadal is going to win. And on the women's side, it's so wide open. But I do like Osaka again off of her mental showing at the U.S. Open, being so very strong to come back and win in that fashion. And she's a good value. So those are my 2 picks: Nadal, Osaka. But give a little coin on Zverev and Djokovic. What do you have?
So I did them dirty.
Uh-oh.
I'm team. And I didn't go with team for the U.S. Open. So I'm going with team this go round. Okay. I should have never went off of him. I'm taking him at plus 300 to win it all. I think the fact that he was a runner-up the last 2 years, I think this is his time to shine. He's on a roll. I'm picking him to win it all. On the women's side, I'm going with Osaka. Both of Osaka at plus 900, Thiem at plus 300. Those are my picks to win the French Open.
Nice. We got 1 out of 2. Nice.
Let's see how we do.
I know.
Thanks, Frank.
Thanks, man.
I appreciate it. All right, have a good one.
See ya.
Oh, what a day, everybody. A great morning. I hope you've enjoyed it with me as I made my French Open picks. Thank you very much to Frank Hanrahan for joining me. It was a lot of fun talking tennis with him and sports in general. We'll have to have him more and more often because Frank and I go way back. He's really cool. And, of course, Hayley's comments. I don't know what to say about Hayley's comments sometimes. Really put me on the spot there as we talk about the depression of Paris Hilton to Kyler Murray playing against the Washington football team. If NHL, the young rookies are getting a fair shake with salaries. But I love talking sports. And as I'm going to end the show here, today, just for sport. Thank you very much for everybody watching on the stream here. So my mom, I decided to make a little set behind me with some of my trinkets. I got Emmys on one side. I'm a big Chelsea fan. So I've got I went to see Chelsea play at Arsenal in January 2019. That was great in England. I've got some of my favorite bobbleheads behind me. And when Hayley and I hosted our Wizards pregame show, I kept some of my trinkets there. But my aunt passed away on my mom's side, my Aunt Polly. And she was big on collecting stamps. And I'm not really a stamp collector, but they are cool when they come out with some interesting stamps. And so my mom said, well, I want you to have her collection of stamps, and I'm going to be getting more of them in. And I just don't really know what to do with them. And so I'm going to share 2 stamps that I have here that she sent me that I found in my collection because I had them in a box. This one is a Fern Collection first day issue. You see this here. I'm getting used to this camera here. Josh Gibson stamp. See if I'm going the wrong way with the camera here. But I got a Josh Gibson stamp and then a Jackie Robinson stamp. And I just think it's really cool that my Aunt Polly collected stamps. And then my mom passed them on to me. I just don't know what to do with them. Where to put them. I don't really want to sell them, but I don't really know the value of stamps either. I just don't. So now I've got to figure out what to do with these stamps. Are there any stamp collectors out there that know how much certain stamps are worth? Maybe what I'll do is put a collection online. And I guess I could do my own research, but I'm curious what people say it's worth in general if I have something. Okay, so the other thing my mom sent me are I got this stamp here. Michael Jordan, Scottie Pippen, Chicago Bulls win 70 games, and Dennis Rodman as well. So I got this stamp. I guess envelope is what it is. On the back of it, I can't tell if this says 65 or $6, but it's 223 out of 550. So only 550 of those stamps in the world. That's pretty good. I'll do the Michael Jordan shrug. I don't know. Maybe. I got this March Madness from 2017 magazine. My mom sent it to me. I was looking at the cover and just wondering where these players were in the NBA. Only 2 of the 4, I believe, are still in the league. But as Charles Barkley plays, I'm not good at who he played for. I would not be good at that game because I don't remember who some of these players play for, especially that old. But I will say a story that I remember when I got these magazines, and I got one more to share, is I used to live in Chicago, and I've seen the game in Wrigley Field, in the stands, and I've been able to watch a game from an apartment building in the outfield. And so I feel like that bucket list, I can check it off. But I remember, shout out to my buddy, Tony Bennett. Yes, that's his real name, but it's not that Tony Bennett. He was like, we're going to my buddy's apartment to watch the baseball game. And we go into this guy's apartment, and he has on his wall perfectly framed Sports Illustrated covers. And I looked at one cover, and I immediately got steaming mad because I used to collect Sports Illustrated, and I had boxes and boxes. And then one day I just threw them away. I was like, what am I doing with all of these? But the one cover that I threw away that I was most annoyed with, is I threw away the Michael Jordan hologram Sports Illustrated cover. It was like gray cover with just Michael Jordan's picture in a hologram. Obviously, you know how holograms look. No matter which way you turn, it's a different image. I just threw it in the trash, and I wish I had it back. But I did get this awesome sports cover, or sports magazine, excuse me. It's just called Sport. And it's from, you can see special issue, The Negro in American Sport. It's got Jackie Robinson, Willie Mays, Althea Gibson, and Wilt the Stilt Chamberlain. This amazing. March 1960. March 1960. But I don't want to take it out of plastic. I just feel like all I can ever do is look at the cover of Sport. But I want to read the article. So maybe I'll see if some of these articles online. It costs 25 cents. 25 cents for this magazine. You got to watch Just for Sport for free. Didn't cost you anything. Hope you enjoyed it. I want to say thanks to Frank Hanrahan of WTOP. He's a sports anchor there. You can listen to him in the mornings and doing his drive reports, sometimes in the afternoon. I really appreciate having him on. And then hope you enjoyed Hayley's comments. Listen to the podcast. You can find it anywhere you can find your pods. Leave a review on Apple Podcasts. Please let me know what you think of the show. You can join my chat as we're going to start doing more Restream. Shout out to Restream. Anybody watching on our Props Network YouTube channel, Twitch, or Facebook, thank you very much for watching. Hopefully you'll join my chat next time. You can hear the pod as I'm going to put this together because I got a special guest that I'm interviewing later on today. We're going to talk NBA. We're going to talk bubble. He is a columnist, a national columnist for Yahoo Sports. I'm not going to tell you his name. You got to listen to the podcast. You can catch it on Google, Spotify, Pandora, everywhere. Okay, I'm done with this live stream. I got more to do this morning.